Hi, Marcel here. Being raised the son of a political activist, one could imagine that I was raised with somewhat of a warrior mindset. And with that, of course, came the early introduction of martial arts when I was just 6 years old. Now being 50, I still enjoy practicing martial arts, but in particular, the martial art of Tai Chi, which I was introduced to about 20 years ago. Now, the art of Tai Chi is really characterized by its slow and controlled movements. And what I learned through Tai Chi was that it takes a great amount of self-control and self-awareness to master the various different movements required in a sequence. And what I discovered over my years of research as a leadership researcher is that many of the lessons that I learned through Tai Chi also apply in leadership. So in my Headstrong Performance workshops, I actually conduct a Tai Chi session where I teach my leaders the 5 Tai Chi principles of leadership. And that's what I want to share with you today. So here they come. The first principle is to relax and remain calm. Of course, Tai Chi is characterized by those slow and controlled movements. And in a paradoxical kind of way, the body needs to be completely relaxed. The reason for this is that in a combat situation, if you end up tensing up because of your fight or flight response, your movements are actually slower. So a martial artist who is completely relaxed moves faster and can also think of strategies to overcome the various different situations that a martial artist might be in. Now in business, it's the same thing. If in business we encounter any form of challenge and on top of that, we are in a fight or flight response, then we tend to tense up too, and we can't think of solutions in a very effective way. Our ability to have the self-awareness and self-regulation to make ourselves relax when actually our bodies want to be tense is a great leadership skill. On top of that, being in a state of relaxation also allows us to rub off on our environment in a very positive way. Because being around people who are also in that same challenging situation can be inspiring if we are in a relaxed state and therefore allow those people around us to feel relaxed as well. The second Tai Chi principle of leadership is to separate yin from yang, or in other words, pause before you act. In Tai Chi, we deliberately pause before we act, and the reason why we do that is to be able to put the body in an ideal position to be able to act as smoothly and swiftly and as effectively as possible. In leadership, we need to do the same thing. When we encounter challenging situations, it can be extremely tempting to act emotionally and to act very, very quickly without necessarily thinking all of the consequences that might be from that decision. So in every situation, rather than reacting immediately with knee-jerk situations or anything like that, it's always better to take a step back, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, relax, and then find the best solution that you can apply to then move yourself forward. The third Tai Chi principle is to keep your back straight and head high. And in Tai Chi, the requirement to keep your back straight has to do with balance. How do you keep your body in a balanced position? Even when your body begins to fatigue through hours and hours of practice, it's still important to be able to regulate yourself so that you can stand tall and with your head high and be in that balanced position. And in leadership, the same thing counts. Day in and day out, we can be beaten down by various different challenges. And it doesn't matter how much we fatigue, how exhausted and burnt out we might feel. We must always be able to present ourselves with a nice, tight, strong back and our head high. And what this actually does is it inspires those around us, because those around us may also feel fatigued and burnt out. And by keeping our back straight and heads high, we are able to inspire them to do the same. The fourth principle is pretty lady wrists, or in other words, be elegant. And what that means in Tai Chi is we have to keep our joints in an open and elegant position to allow energy to flow freely from our belly buttons all the way into our fingertips. And this optimizes our speed and power when we need it. And in leadership, it's also important to keep our joints in an open posture, which then creates a sense of authenticity and approachability, which is important for those people around us because that instills confidence for them. The fifth and final principle is to lead from the hips, or to be centered. And what this means in Tai Chi is that it can be extremely tempting to focus on what the hands or what the feet are doing or what an opponent is doing. Instead, we need to focus on the power coming from inside our body to an outward position and allowing our hands and feet to be a natural extension of that center of power. In leadership, the same thing counts. It's very tempting in leadership to focus on what other people are doing or trying to change other people's behavior or even to focus on what the competition is doing. Instead, what we want to do is we want to focus inward first, then outward. So focusing on what responsibility or what role do I play in this situation and how, if I change my behavior, is that going to affect the outcome? This strategy costs much less energy than trying to change the outside world first and then changing the inside. It's better to focus inward first, then outside. Well, that's it for me. Those are the 5 principles. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye-bye.